Okay, I see we're live. So, hello everyone. Ho, ho, ho. It's Christmas season, and I'm sure you're excited, getting ready for Christmas, last minute shopping, last minute cooking, all of the things. Well, we're here for it. Today's another Tuesday, it's another day to be on your favorite program, Women's Matters. And who better to celebrate the Christmas with us? Drum roll! I have with me Omolara Odediran. Did I get the name right? Did I get that your
Yes, you're
surname
right.
right? I've been practicing it. So I have Omolara with me today, and it's going to be amazing. I promise you. But before we get into it, you know how we do. We let our guests introduce themselves. So, Omolara, please, I've already been telling them that you are one international superstar. So don't fall my hand. Don't come with humility here. Just give us the full gist. Who are you? We would like to meet you today. Welcome to our show. Good evening.
Thank you for having me. My name is Omolara Odediran. I'm a mom of two. I'm married to one husband. So I'm a
By the grace
business
of God.
administrator and a fashion designer. I hope a creative design business in Finland. And basically we have three major hands. The fashion design business, which the primary goal is to bridge the cultural gap between Africa and Europe in
Mm,
fashion. And then the second part is to
mm,
train the future generation of fashion designers and creative designers. And then the third part is the event management, in which we curate and design cultural events, whereby
mm.
it's just a way of bridging the cultural gap also in Africa and get people to realize and promote commerce, culture, and what's the third C? I'm trying to remember now. Yes, basically. So we just do this three major thing: creativity, to promote creativity, basically just promoting the African excellence, creativity, commerce, and
I
culture.
love it.
Thank you for having me on the show again.
I love it. I love it. I mean, and that's what we are called to do. We are called to go into the world and be, the change that we want to see. Imagine you're going to a different country and you're trying to bridge the gap between, creativity and culture and just bringing the African flavor into the European market. I think it's really, really amazing. Thank you for all that you do and for flying the flag very high over there. We love
Yeah.
it. So, welcome, welcome, welcome to our show. You know how we do here. We first of all ask you, what made you pick this topic? Why? What attracted you to this topic? And that in itself is the topic. So, let's
Yeah.
go.
So when I got the message, when I saw the topic, like
Mm,
where you don't need to be healed before you share your story. It is something I can actually relate to because I've suffered grief, I've suffered
mm,
loss, and nothing prepared you for grief. So you can't actually tell the timeline when your healing will be. So I think I'm
yeah.
just a testament of how long it took for me to get healing, but then I didn't keep quiet because that was the first thing I understood 10 years ago when grief happened. Like,
Mm,
sharing, talking about it because it took a long time, of course, for me to admit it actually happened. So it was a point of acceptance for me to start talking about it, even though I didn't get my healing, but it was a journey to my healing.
right, right.
So
I
it
mean,
actually was
uh,
like a topic that is
it
home for me.
resonated.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it. Thank you so much. And when I saw it was your name on it today, I was like, I love it. That I like the way Holy Spirit just plugs people into the right places. We don't talk too much, we don't fight too
Yeah.
much, just throw it open and just cause the students. So you take this one, you take this one.
Yeah.
And that's how we always go. So well done. Thank you so much for coming. So I'd like to know, you are the teacher. Me, I'm just here as moderator. So you can start from anywhere you want to start, middle, end, anywhere. Just take us on the journey. What would you like to share with us today? And how has this, like you said, this resonates a lot with you. So maybe you can start with that story, or I mean, anyhow you'd like to have it is fine by us.
Yeah, it's good to always have the background story. So thank you again for having me. Maybe this is the first public place I'll be sharing after getting healing. So
Praise God.
I'm from a family of seven. So I have three elder brothers, and then I'm the first girl, but the fourth child, and then I have one younger sibling. sister. So we are just two girls. And,
Mm.
my parents are not literate, but the kind of parent that they do everything to make sure like my kids, the kind of life I don't have, my children have to have it. So they go all their
Mm.
way out. Like we live in Ile-Ife, we went to the best school, like they just make sure we have everything right. And we're not allowed to do any menial jobs or, oh, as we are on holiday, university, you are started selling. My dad would be like, no, you'll be distracted with money. So I just wanted to,
Mm.
like they just try to provide everything. And I remember my parents visiting me at least once a month. And for my dad, it's even every weekend. Like I get visited in school when I was in uni. So like everybody actually know our parent. We never lack anything. And it's same for my elder brothers too. My brother schooled in Oyo State, in Futa. I have
Yeah.
two brothers in Futa. So not like it's the girl child thing. It's for every
Mm.
one of us. So it was, we are that kind of parent. I just love seeing my mom. And my mom is the type like you can share anything with her. Like there's no boundary. There's no you can have boyfriend or something. We can share any form of information, anything
Yes,
you
that's
can just
amazing.
think of. So in 2014 March, my baby sister was 19. She was
Mm.
19 then. So her birthday was March 4. So she was in Lautech, a medical student. So we traveled down
Mm.
from Ife to Lautech on March 2nd. It was immediately after service, because every
Mm.
first Sunday in my parents' church is always like a very early service, 6 to 9, and then we are done. So we took a trip to Lautech to go and make a surprise. So she never
Mm.
expected us we were coming or something like that. And it was just after they resumed January, and it was after a 6 month of ASU strike till
Mm.
December. So it was like we had a long time at home, like we had that bond. It just felt like life knew what was going to happen next.
Mm.
Because we were always, since all of us were in university, we were always just meeting maybe during holiday, during one family event, because we were in different
Yes.
schools. But
Different
then we now
schools.
spend all 6 months, like
Mm.
no interruption. There was ASU strike till December. So we shared hobbies together. So it was like we were just reconnecting. And then in
Mm.
March, about 2 days to her birthday, we went to give her a surprise visit. And then she was just gisting us everything. This one, they just resumed back. I will never forget that statement, because I remember posting it on my status like, this past week she has been working in the mortuary. Now she know how to embalm dead bodies. So she was telling all that gist. I will never forget, even though it's 11 years. And she had a birthday, she had photo shoot. Like I learned fashion design because I was waiting for my NYC call-up letter. So that time I was already making dresses. So I already made, I think we made like different 7 outfits. Even that mom wore matching one and I packed for her. So in our room we had a mini photo shoot. The memories are just so sweet and greeny. So we went back home after the surprise, and then March 4 was her birthday. She sent pictures. We were just in the moment, because every year in my house, honestly, is like a milestone. My parents we don't have like this is
Don't
18,
wait
this is
for any
16.
special
No,
times.
every year is a
Mm. Every
milestone. Like
birthday
you
is
being
special.
alive. I remember my brother getting admission to P degree. You had this like it's just a thing in my
I love
house.
it.
Like
I love it.
it's not a degree, it's pre-degree, but everything is just we have reason to just have our moments.
Celebrate.
It's not a big grand celebration, but we are happy, that kind of thing.
Mm.
Then 13 days after her birthday, she came home. So we still saw over the weekend. And that Sunday morning, I went to Ibadan to visit a friend, my friend that I just finished NYSC. So I went to visit my friend that we met during NYSC. She lives in Ibadan. It was just like 1 hour journey. So I went to her church to fellowship. But I saw my sister before leaving. But apparently, I was not going to meet her again when I came back from Ibadan, because she was traveling to Lagos that day. So after service, my parents dropped her off also at the park, and she went to Lagos. So she went to the German embassy. So she was done with whatever she went there to do. And then she called my mom. Where I was working was very close to my mom's shop. So I just went to visit her during break. I had a break. So it was a stone throw. I just walked there. So it was that same time my mom was calling my baby sister, and she was like, hello, what was what you went for? Then she said, she's back at the park. She's going to Ibadan. Then she connects to the bus to Obomosho. So my mom was saying, she said, it's remaining one person. So mom said if it's too late, just branch your uncle's house in Ibadan and sleep over, like all these African parents, mommy. You are not going to take late night
No
bus.
internet bus. So,
Exactly. So once you get to Ibadan, it's past 4 p.m. Even though it was just 12 that time, you're not going to Bomosho again. You will go
mm,
back tomorrow morning, go to your uncle's place to sleep. We never knew she would not even make it to Ibadan. So
mm,
it was the Lagos Ibadan. So she was now started to tell my mom what she went to do at the bank, and I was like, in Yoruba, oh Mora, like, why do you want to start explaining your journey inside the bus? You are going home.
mm,
If I had
When you
knew, I
go
would
back.
have made her spew everything. Let me just hear whatever you want to say. So like, you will get home and then you will tell us whatever you want to tell us. So she was like, Auntie, me warn yourself. Oh. So we just laughed. And that was the last
Mm,
I heard from her. So around 4 p.m., mommy started trying to reach her. Then every one of us started dialing a number. It wasn't going through. The two numbers, she had two phones. So mommy was like, my daughter know if she knows she needs to find a way of reaching me. She know my
our
number
phones are dead.
offhand. Yeah. And she would have gone to the call center to call me even when she got down from Ibadan. Like, she know I would be worried. So when it was
Mm,
now late night, very late night, 9, we knew something was wrong because at that time we were like, no. Mommy said no. She know how disturbed I would be. When that mother instinct just keeps saying. And that night I slept. I won't even lie. I slept so sound. I didn't feel anything. I was just like, we've trusted God so much for this to happen to her. Like, I didn't even have any iota of doubt. I was just like, even if anything happened, she will be fine. So I slept so deep, like that assurance was just there because we were brought up being Christian. We the trust, the way my mom said I don't have this jazz or something because it always have. I'm trying to find the English word now. It always bounce back, or there's always
yes, there
the
is repercussions.
repercussion for it. But in Jesus, you can go in with your children. Like,
Mm,
so she say, like, Atakuro Onuado, like these people that do jazz, when they enter that calabash, they can only go there themselves. They don't carry their children. They have to do the children separate. But in Jesus, you go with everything you have. So like, it's just so, I didn't even have any doubts. By the time we woke up
mm,
in the morning, I met my mom didn't sleep all night, and she has been walking around the compound. We have a fence, so she has been walking around the compound and saying something has happened to our child.
oh,
So when we woke up, and I was like, Mom, what's going on? She said, No, I knew something has happened to my child. Like, something has happened to my child. And it felt
mm,
like, okay. So at that moment, Dad and Mom said they are going to start going to Ibadan to go to the radio station. So they already took a picture from the family album. My mom will say, okay, let's hold some cash in case we're directed to the hospital. So they add their ATM and then they have their cash. So we see how mom
mm,
was so restless. So my brother said it won't be wise for them to go alone. So he called our family caretaker, like the person in charge of my parents' property, like, sorry, something is up. Can you just follow them?
go
So it
with
was like,
them.
it came quickly. And then they were going to go. Then we called our pastor also. So when they
Mm,
were going to go, they were still around. We were waiting for our pastor to arrive. I just called one of the people I met during NYSC. I was like,
mm,
babe, how far? And I know she lives in Ibadan. Like, how far? Did you hear of any accidents in Ibadan? She was like, one, she didn't know what happened. She was like, one
mm,
accident happened, though. Like, it has been all over the news since
mm.
last night. Like, nobody survived. Then she was like,
Jesus.
So I was like, she said, hey, sorry, because I was the MD for during NYSC. So she was like, sorry,
Mm,
GMD, like the grand music director. Who are you looking for? I said, my baby sister. She said, God forbid, your sister will not be in that. I'm so sorry, I did not know
mm,
it's your sister. So she was just,
mm,
I'm like, it's fine. It's okay. So at that moment, I told my brother, I said, my mom should not go with them.
mm,
So immediately we said, okay, mom, you're not going to go with them. Dad would go with our pastor. At that time, our pastor has arrived. So as my pastor
mm,
they were just about to leave, I just received the call. So till
mm,
today, it's 11 years now. Till today, I hardly pick call on the first dial. Like when you call me, it's like,
mm.
That's some of
Mm,
the consequences of the trauma. Like I put my phone permanently on silence. It is just
mm.
this year I started putting on ringing on sometimes because people are like, I prefer, please, before you call me, can you drop a message of what you want to tell me
What you
before
want to tell me, please? I
calling?
don't want any
Yeah.
kind of.
So I just received that call and he said, hello, is this Omolara? I'm like, yes, this is me. He said, okay, your sister. Okay, he said, now they can't even recognize her body if it's a sister or brother. So she said, your
Yes.
brother. I'm like, no, it's a sister. She said, okay, your sister was in an accident that happened. And she said she's currently going through treatment at the UCH. So can you start
Mm,
coming to UCH? I'm like, ah, at that time, our compound, because mom had started speaking. So we have our family friends very close to us already around, and people are
mm,
wondering what's going. Like we have shops for rentals in front of our apartment, so some people can hear the conversation and they're moving around. So and mom is so nice to all those people, so they've already started coming into the compound. So that time, so I said, okay. Like, can you send me the address and the number of the doctor to call? So immediately I
yeah.
called my dad because my dad is on the way. I just said that you don't need to go to any radio station again. This is the number of the doctor. They said she's receiving treatment in UCH. You should start going there.
UCH.
So my dad went to UCH. That was the first call I got that day, 18th of March, 15 days
Mm,
after her birthday and 19th birthday. So just like less than an hour after, my dad just called and said, Omolara, just get hold of yourself and try to run around, stay around your mom. Your sister is gone. I've confirmed that body.
mm,
So that was the second call I got that day. And it felt like I was just laughing, like nothing immediately. And then my dad called a family friend that was there. So it was when that person said, ah, that person screamed out that my mom knew something has happened. So my mom was like,
that's right.
ah, something has happened to her, blah, blah, blah. You know, Tijo me like the Yoruba word.
Mm,
And at that moment, I was laughing. I just sat on the floor in the compound and I was laughing, and nothing actually made sense in that moment. And it feels like,
mm.
and in the process of grief, people say a lot of things. Now I've learned maybe it's not still a good habit. When someone lose someone around me, I try to keep quiet
Yes,
because
if you
that's
don't know
the
what to say,
best
don't
thing
say
to do.
anything.
Because I think that's the best thing to do. So someone started saying, people were around and I was like, ah, if someone that prayed this much, if this can happen to them, you know,
Mm,
there were a lot of words. There were a lot of words. And at that moment, they had to move me, my parents, they had to move us out of the house. So it was only
mm,
my two elder brothers. My third brother was abroad already that time. So, and then I was just on the floor. I sat down and everything didn't make sense. I started laughing. I started laughing. And at some point,
because
I
it was
stood
like,
up. I
mm,
stood up and then I was like, this is a lie. A miracle must happen. But apparently, it was a fire accident. Like
mm,
there was a truck that collided with a bus and another car was coming. So it was like it was in the news all over. So I started searching the news to see the depth of like how big the accident was. And I was like, my sister cannot be here. Maybe God wants to perform one miracle that has never been heard before. Like,
mm,
when Ezekiel went to the valley and was saying bones came and flesh came. So I was just believing for that kind of miracle. Like flesh will come from, there will be a wind that will just blow for somewhere. And then my then fiancé, my husband now, I just called him and said, they said Kike is gone. And I just traveled down also. Like, it was in a school lecturing. It left that kind of like, no, it can't be.
mm,
And everything just felt out of place. Like at some point, I was now, and now one thing about losing your sibling
mm,
losses, you're not allowed to grieve because you want to be strong for your parents.
mm,
And at that moment,
mm,
so they were saying they were going to bury her the next day, and people
mm.
from our school, our campus, by that time because we've called the campus also for someone to go check if she was already
Whether
on
she
campus,
was
and everybody
there.
kept saying, yeah, she went home, she's not back.
Mm,
So the schools chartered a whole coastal bus. They said they have an upcoming exam. They canceled, and all the students came. But that time they've moved us out of the house, so they only met my brothers
mm.
and people in our compound. And the next thing I heard was that I told my dad, I said, I want to be there when she's being buried. And my dad said, they just kept saying, you can't.
Mm,
Like, you can't. Like, it's not possible. It's your, in Yoruba culture, the parents and then the elder sibling are not allowed to be at the grave. Of course, those are old culture, sha, anyways.
mm,
So, those are the things that made it hard to believe it actually happened.
mm.
Because
You
this
had
was
no
still
closure.
someone I beheard on Sunday. And then on Tuesday, I was getting the call that she's passed. Like, make it make sense. And then on Wednesday, so the next thing on Wednesday morning, before we could say Jack Robinson or what's going on,
Mm,
what's the next? I was still insisting I have to go. Then the call I just had from my uncle was she has been buried in the cemetery in our hometown. I'm like, what's going on?
it was just
So
happening too fast.
everything just so immediately, because at that period, I just left church. I used to sing in the choir. I left choir because I have
Mm,
questions. And then it still felt like a dream until 3 weeks
mm,
after. They now brought her baggages from school, all her medical notes. And I was like, babe, you better calm down. Nobody's using this medical. Me, I'm not studying medicine. So now you
mm,
get your book. And at that point, it felt like nobody's
mm,
using all this. These are your loads. Madam, please come out and stop this prank. Because it felt like, so everything was just happening. I don't even know how to make sense of it. So it was after that third week when her baggage has been brought back, I said, okay, this is becoming real. I'm no longer seeing her text message at night. She's not replying because every night I make sure I drop a message. I
mm,
so the calls are not connecting, nothing is going on. So I was like, okay, this is real. And it felt like the world doesn't make sense anymore. So I left work. My boss gave me enough time. He even came to visit because
mm,
it was like, "Ah, I'm so sorry this happened." He came to see my parent and everything. When I said, when you are ready to resume, but 1 month later, I'm not resuming. So my boss said, they need to find someone. I'm the one managing. So like there are other people working under me. If your manager no come
mm,
at 1 month, grief holiday should be done by now. But nothing was making
mm,
sense at that point. So I left church, I left my job. So I was home full-time morning. And
mm.
at that period, it feels like when I cry in the sitting room, I see my mom, we hug, I enter our room, I cry. Like we're just crying from one room to the other, like so, and none of my brothers are living at like they've all moved
The
out.
house.
So it was
Mm,
usually like only the girls, and then my other brother comes to visit because the other two ones are working outside our city. So at that point, my 3 months after, my eldest
mm.
brother came, like a
The one
cousin,
that
not
was
my
abroad.
eldest cousin. He
Okay,
visited from
cousin.
Finland. And then when he came, he just saw everything. That was in July, and he said, it is not good that both of you and mom are around each other. I think it's time we find a way of you. So I never planned going abroad. I have everything going on for me. So it was
Mm,
loss that made them relocate me.
mm,
Like, I think you just have to leave. It is time for you to leave because you and mom, I don't know, we don't know for how long this will go on for. So that was
mm.
how they said you're going to study. Okay, thank God you have your degree. They just applied on a norm, and then in 2 weeks, they said your admission letter is out. And then I applied to embassy. And then I went to Abuja. I got appointment a week. I went to Abuja. And then, in fact,
Mm,
my then fiance had to follow me to Abuja because I was just like a shadow. Like, so we went to
mm.
Abuja together. And then 2 weeks after again, the decision is ready, you've been granted. Like, why did you guys grant me? Why are you
Which kind of
granting?
speed is all this self? Let me cry my cry.
So
Hmm.
October 15, I left Nigeria. And that was
Hmm.
exactly 6 months, six,
About
7 months after last I saw my
7 months.
sister. Yeah. So when I moved abroad, everything just felt quiet. No family, just met people in school. And I'm like, why did you people even stress me and send me here? So the whole of December, I visited Finland. We went to this Santa Claus village and everything. But it was like I was not alive because that was our first official Christmas without each other.
Without her.
And that was the
Hmm.
point of, that was the journey. That was when my healing journey started. I would say,
Hmm.
God bless the soul. God bless my brother-in-law. My
Hmm.
one of my cousins, the husband. So like I was indoor all through. You know, when people are enjoying and you are just on one corner, like we went as a group, like 10 of us, to the Santa
Mm,
Claus village, and I was always indoor. I cry, cry, cry. Then they forced me to the dining table, and then I go back. When they went to watch all the side attraction, I was indoor just
mm.
crying. Like, so this Christmas, I was just looking at the previous Christmas pictures that we took because my mom used to be a photographer before she retired from that. So like we
Wow.
have memories is not memories now water. Let me
Mm,
let me put it
mm,
that way. So like we just have all those things. So there was a too much of it. There was actually too much of it, and it just felt like wait. So every time I see myself questioning God, so every time
mm.
I see myself saying, "Ah, this cannot be." So my brother-in-law now sat me down. So let me start from where, just to cut the story short, because it's actually so long.
I can
So
imagine.
he said, why are you crying? So I said, you know why I'm crying. So
Mm,
he said, I don't. I said, you are lying. You actually know. And I started crying again. Then he said, okay, I know why you are crying, but I want you to open your mouth to tell me. So it
mm,
was so hard. That was when I knew it was so hard to actually say, I lost my sister.
mm,
For more than 10 minutes, I stayed there. I was crying. I was like, I can't say it. Like, how can I
mm.
say I lost her? And she was like, just take your time, cry, let it out. When you're ready, but you're not leaving here until you tell me
What you
why you are
say? Why
crying.
you?
So at
Mm,
that point, it feels like you are insane. You know why. Why do you want me to say it?
mm,
And after it took a while, and I was like, my sister, she said, what happened to her? So I'm like, this brother is actually pulling my legs. And that was the first night, December
mm,
25th, 2014, that I ever mentioned, like, that was the first, except the random Facebook post that I started seeing 10 years memory. I'm like, what? I actually posted this 10 years ago, you know? And that was the first night I ever mentioned, like, I lost my baby sister. She said, true word. I'm like, she had an accident, and I cried. And that was the
mm,
beginning. Even though healing didn't come, healing came 11 years later. But that was the
mm,
beginning. Because since then, I'm able to, because at some point, it felt like a shame that if you
mm,
actually trust God this much, if your family actually believe God this much, why would this
mm.
happen? And I remember 3 years
And because
ago,
of that word person that came to talk
yes.
at that time, who asked him?
And you know, there was other woman that I had to call my big cousin to come and take out of the house because she was right there in front of my mom saying, we still saw her that Sunday, oh, that girl that was singing and dancing in front. And then she said, I don't even know when you won't remember. Mommy, it is only God that will heal you. I don't even know when you won't remember. Is it when I met her marrying? God. And I had to come and
These
call
people.
my big cousin, like, Auntie, please, that woman, go and tap her and walk her out. Because at that point, she was saying too much. You don't need to
Mm,
remind her mates will marry. She definitely know.
mm,
And it's not something she will forget forever. So it's not even
mm.
in a while. So you don't need, she's a part of, we have our family albums, everything. We always taking
Exactly.
pictures.
You can't forget. So don't tell us what we already know. That's really insensitive.
So my big auntie had to walk her out and say, Mama, can I see you outside? And then she followed. That was the only time we got that peace. So
Mm,
I always had this feeling that God failed. So every year I started, but that was what, when I saw the topic, like you have to, because sharing about your loss,
mm,
I don't know what form of loss you have, because now me, I'm
mm,
just sharing. Some people it might be relationship, it might be friendship, it might be family, it might be anything you can think of. But once you are able to get hold and speak to someone, not just randomly, to
mm,
someone affirmatively about your loss, that is the first step to your healing. That is the
mm.
first step to your freedom that you are actually going towards the path of healing. I
Absolutely.
honestly, I can't say this is how long healing will take because I remember it was the first day I shared on TOCI group when we were talking about my what's it called? Mother's Day is coming. Have you seen your mom? Blah blah blah. And I just dropped like because since I left Nigeria 11 years ago now, I didn't step back because of grief. Every year I want to go, But I'm like, I'm not ready to go. I left Nigeria when I lost something dear to me. Am I ready to face that country? At some point, it felt like Nigeria failed me because it was the road accident. So I was like, Nigeria failed me. Nigeria took something very precious from me. So pain will come in diverse ways, and things will remind you of your pain. Different things will remind you of your pain. So it was at that moment, so it's just a random chat on the group also. Like, I was like, it's been 8 years. I think it's 8 years now. It's been 8 years I've seen my mom last. Thank God for video call because I left when I lost my sister, and I don't think I'm ready to face that yet. Because I don't think I'm ready to face that memory. We shared our room, we shared everything. So going into that room, knowing I'm not going to see her, and I left shortly after she passed, like I don't think I'm ready. I still don't, and that kept me away from home for good 11 years. That kept me away from home for good. But God will keep, He's a very loving father. He comes to you softly. He won't force you. Because there are some years I feel like every match is a mess. Trust me, every match. Because it feels like you came in the month of March. And what made it worse was that in my family, we have our birthdays from February, like
Follow
right
each
there.
other.
So my second
Mm,
brother is February, my sister is March, my first brother is April, my dad is
mm,
May, myself and my mom were June. So now
mm,
after February, the person in March just left.
mm,
So, so like there are a lot of things, and I'm like, mm-mm. Now my daughter is July, my husband and son is August, my brother, my immediate is September. Like we just have everything like aligned, arranged like that. So I was just like, nothing makes sense. I'm not going on. But in the course of this, I found trusted people that keep pushing and people that actually looked out for me because it was the same way. The same day I shared on the group, that was immediately you called. You just sent me a message. Coach Brenda just said, Coach B said, can I talk to you? I'm so sorry. And then she called, she was just like, and I started crying that night and she said, just let it out. It was 8 years after. But it still felt, in fact, I was looking for the link and I shared with you, if I remember, like the link of the
yes.
accident was published and I started sharing. And people will be deaf. God will send someone. But if your
Mm,
mouth is shut, even though I wasn't healed, it was since 3 years, that 3 years ago after calling, that you said you just
mm,
have to keep her memory. You mentioned that first. You just have to keep her memory alive. And shortly after, someone called and said, what does your sister love doing? She loves to sing. Why don't you have a service of song?
mm.
And I was like, why will I have the culture thing? Why will I have service of song for my baby sister that has passed
Yeah.
years ago? Like, what will people say? Nobody even know her in Finland. They just know I'm always sharing about her and everything. And I was like, never. And then someone still called again and say, in the gap of a week, in the space of a week, and said the same thing. And then I was like, okay, I will consider it
It's
next year.
confirmation.
I was just pushing it forward. And then this year I
Mm,
was like, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I'm ready for this. Like ran away from it for so long. And in just 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, I'm ready. It was meant to be our 30th posthumous birthday. So we'll do it. And then I had it. And that was because everybody was like, you've not been home in 11 years. This is your time. This grief has aired you for so long.
mm.
And funny enough, like I missed the part, like because tailoring was our shared hobby. I never knew that
Okay.
would be what I would be doing. I'm naturally an introvert, so I would never think I would go into business. So I would never, and when grief and pain now made you introverted introvert, like, so for me, it now became hard to make friends. It now became hard because now I fear loss. I fear loss
Mm,
so much. I put space like this, like I have a lot of people reach out and everything, even when I moved to Finland, but I don't want to lose anyone again. I fear grief has a way of putting loss, have a way of putting fear into you. It has a way of
mm.
making you far away even. And then you keep praying for God to make you walk into purpose. But then this thing is shielding you away.
True.
So when I moved to Finland, I was just, like I said, when I introduced like my business, my business was named after her. She's Fayokemi. She's F Joy herself. So I just started calling. In fact, when the business idea came, I was like, oh, of course, F Joy. That was the only thing that, because our friends in school back then, they always call her F Joy, F Joy. So that was the only thing that just came like, oh, of course, F Joy. But then grief has a way of making you stay back also. Like I hide for so long.
Mm,
Like many people, it was in 2023 after we spoke. That was the
mm,
first award I got in Finland, and I was not going to go for the award. I was like, I don't want anybody to know me. That night I was saying
mm,
I almost didn't go. It was someone that started calling. She said, "You have to come. We are coming to pick you at home." And then the makeup artist said, "Start coming. It's late." I was telling her it's 10 p.m. She said, "I will do your makeup. You will go to that award." And it was just nomination. So I didn't know I was going to be voted, but people know the brand name, but they don't know me. It was that night that
mm,
the scale started falling off, and it felt like, oh, you are DF Joy. Really? It's good to place a face on the brand name. And you
mm,
shy away a lot because the guilt comes most times, and it feels like you're moving too fast. And that's the lie
mm.
of the devil. And it feels like you're doing
Like
too
you're
much.
moving on without her.
Yeah, you're moving on without her. You were moving. Oh, so that's all the love end. All the we will do this together. So now life has started for you like that. You've forgotten her. And then I shrink again. So in fact, some people think it's pride. They don't know the struggle
Mm.
you have, like being an
What you're
introvert
battling
and
with.
then going through loss, and then you want to hide because you don't want to suffer any form of loss again. So,
True.
but it was through sharing, because now I started trusting some platform. Like when you called, I was able to speak. I no longer, I now it feels like I wear my pain as a medal of gold, so to say. Even though you
Mm,
don't hear me to talk about anything else, but that my
mm,
sister's loss, because it was me reaffirming that she's truly no longer physically here with me. So
true.
I started sharing. Anytime I have the opportunity to talk about it, I talk about
Mm,
it openly. Even though healing took time, maybe I
mm.
didn't help the healing also to happen, because despite all the messages the Holy Spirit was telling me, I keep shifting forward also year after year.
Yeah.
And some years feels like I've been helped by the Holy Spirit. I'm not going to do this. And then 2 days after, the lie of the devil will creep in also, and it feels like, so this is, you did not cry for your sister. So like it was a big battle.
Devils.
So it was
Mm,
a
mm,
big battle. It was seriously a big battle. And yeah, like I said, healing happened 11 years later. I finally had a
mm,
service of song this March.
mm,
And funny enough, it was that March 16. It was during the service of song I was like, wait, today makes it 11 years we've seen.
mm,
It was in that moment. It wasn't planned that way. And even though the morning of the service of song, I was going to run away from home, I remember saying, I think I can't do this. I don't think I
yeah.
can face this. So, but it happened eventually. And it was 2 months after that I got an invitation from an organization to come and be part of an event in Nigeria regarding
Mm,
fashion. So I felt like,
mm.
oh, because
This is
if
the
that
time.
service of song did not happen, I will never.
Not be, you won't be able to take that
Yeah.
invitation because you will not be ready to go to Nigeria.
Yeah. So it was
God is
like
so
a
kind.
closure, and God being mindful and God being saying, this is what I've been asking you to do for so long. And this year I
Mm,
was able to finally visit the cemetery also and see where she was
mm,
buried. So yeah.
mm. Oh my God, this is such a powerful story. I mean, I've heard this story before, right? Of course. And even though I've even read the account that you've put about it in, in that book that I
Yeah.
that I worked on with this lady. And but even though every time I hear it, there's always a new dimension to the story.
Mm.
And today, the first dimension that I picked out from all of this is God bless your parents for being so
Yeah.
intentional about bonding and celebrating each year.
Yeah.
Because imagine she was 19, you could have said, oh, 18 is the milestone,
Mm.
or the next milestone is 21. So whatever, we'll see you whenever,
Yeah.
and you would not have gone out of your way. You people went out of your way, you made clothes, sewed clothes, showed up at her place,
Mm.
took pictures. Like, what are the odds, right? If it
Mm.
wasn't that they were already curating that and it was
That.
natural. It
Yeah.
wasn't like it just out of the blues. They just told people, come, let's go and
Mm.
see yourself. Like, why? Why? I'm not interested. But because it was already part of your
Yeah.
family
The
culture,
family
everybody's
rituals.
like,
Yeah.
oh, let's go, let's go. Everybody was, excited, and you're able to go and give her that joy
Yeah.
even before she passed. like she'll be in heaven smiling and like, "Ah, my family, best family ever. Don't
You are
even
the
try.
best.
In fact,
Yeah.
you know, you guys also you're able to remember her with fondness.
Yeah.
Oh, this my baby sister that we did this together, we did all this together because your parents were very intentional about raising you guys in that way. So I just wanted you to remember that. So even whenever you think about her or think about the loss, just remember the blessings. This is not very common. Oh. This thing you're
Mm.
saying gently like this about your parents, it's not very common. Oh. If people tell you African parents, and they tell you what they used to see with African parents, and you say they were not literate, yet they
Yeah.
invested so much in your education and went all out to care for you guys, visiting you in schools. And imagine having they forgot get doctor picking now.
Intentional.
Not
Yeah.
be this Olorinla road we go kill
Mm-hmm.
person picking. But just imagine with that intentional. I just wanted to just point that out that that was the beautiful part of the story that I picked up today. I
Yeah.
like I did every time I hear it, I always pick up something else. And it is really, really amazing. And I mean, if we take nothing out of this, I want to share with everybody that's listening on the call today that this is Christmas,
Mm.
right? It's time to build memories. All the
Yeah.
children are home. Even
Please.
those that have gone out, they were in school and they're back home. Everybody is back home. Instead of being up and about, running up and down from market to
Mm-hmm.
kitchen, instead of dragging children to come and cook up and find time to bond, find time to do exciting activities. Sit down together over Monopoly, over a game of chess,
Exactly.
over cards, ordinary card, ordinary Ludo.
Even the
It doesn't
cooking,
have to be
don't one
fancy.
out yourself.
You understand? Even the
Anything.
cooking, do
Yeah.
small and rest. Everybody do small and rest. There's no award for who cooks the most on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Forget it. In fact, if you can do without cooking on Christmas Day, feel free. Order food. If you cannot order food, cook the night before. So that morning
Mm-hmm.
you will just rest. Don't pressure your children. Bring the joy of the celebration of presence.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, these are the things that go with them. These are the
Yes.
things that go with them into life. I mean, I'm sure that right now you are already very intentional about curating these kind of things for your own
Family
children because that's what
values.
you saw.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's what you saw growing up. So, I mean, if nothing else, we need to take things like this out of it and take this Christmas. I mean, I'm really very glad that you shared the story. If you see the comments, everybody was like, "Oh my God," like they are like, as we were talking. And
Yeah.
even me, even after hearing the story so many times, it still did a lot for me here. But guess what? The interesting thing about it all is that, and you have said, is that you were able to share
Yeah.
even when you had not fully healed.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the message for today. That sometimes it may still be messy. You may not be able to see the
You don't
way
have it.
forward. You may not be able to see why this happened. You are still
Yeah.
angry with
Mm-hmm.
God. You are
The
still
anger will
angry
be
with
there.
everybody.
So one thing
Yes.
also, sorry to cut you short.
Yeah.
One thing is God reveals in part. So even when some
Mm.
instruction comes and it doesn't make sense and you feel life has cheated you or something, you won't have
Mm-hmm.
the entire picture of what God wants to do at that time. But he
Yeah.
reveals in part. So it's until we obey, it's until we take that
Trust
full
and
step of
obey.
obedience that okay,
Mm.
this is what you have next to do, what is up to
Absolutely.
and everything. And
Absolutely,
trust me,
because
healing.
look at that your story. Hmm?
Yeah,
Sorry, Jerry. When you were saying about how you were told to go and do a service of songs, first of all, it
yeah,
doesn't even make sense. The girl is dead. 11 years after. Who does service of songs 11 years after?
yeah.
Okay, even if you wanted to do it, it's not where her friends would be. Who are these
Be
people that you want to call? Like, the instruction would have really, really been very ridiculous, right?
Mm,
But by the time you had it a second time, you got a conviction in your spirit that, okay, this is truly what God wants me to do. And then you went ahead and did it. If you
mm,
had not done it, you would have gotten an invitation to come and speak.
yeah.
Free, all expenses paid trip to go to America and go to Nigeria, a place you've been running away from since. You would have said no. Meanwhile, God was setting things up. Not only did He get you healed through the service of songs, He brought free tickets. So you will not tell me that it's money that I don't have to go to Nigeria. Yeah, come and go.
Many times.
You will not say, ticket is too cost. I'm not going to Nigeria. I don't. Oh, yeah, come and go. And on a platform that you would have been proud to be on.
Yeah.
So it was just a beautiful way of God saying, I see, I got you.
Mm,
I got you. And this is a message in trust, a message in obedience.
yeah.
Because when you heard that instruction, you didn't know what it meant. You didn't know where it was leading. You didn't even know that it was for you first,
Mm-hmm.
all right? More
Exactly.
than for
Yeah.
anybody else. I'm sure all the people that attended that service of songs that they don't know her, but they would have gone away with some feeling of,
Mm-hmm.
something. Some
Yeah.
feeling of the love of Jesus as they walk, as they finished that praise and worship that day.
Yeah.
I believe strongly that they would have gone with that. So God used it to heal everybody. There'll be somebody
Mhm.
in that place that was maybe dealing with something else, and they
Yeah.
just the whole process of it, watching it happen, would have ministered to them. So in our obedience, we don't even know who we are
What God
helping.
is up
We don't
to.
even
Yeah.
know what we are triggering. We don't even know what we're unlocking because
Mm.
maybe that obedience was what unlocked that invitation.
Yeah.
Maybe that invitation would never have come if you did
Yes.
not do what you did. Or
Mm.
maybe it would have gone to somebody else. Or maybe it would have, I don't know. We just never know. And
Mm-hmm.
so in this life, as Christians, we have to learn to obey. We have to learn to trust God when it doesn't even look like it makes
It doesn't make
sense.
sense. Yeah.
It doesn't look like it makes sense. Just continue to trust, continue to move on, and just be doing. And which is why David is my all together favorite character in the whole Bible. Because David was such a person that every time he wanted to do something, he would say, Lord, should I go now? Will I overtake? Will I, he was always constantly asking. And
Mm-hmm.
that is the heart that God loved, which made him say, this is a guy after my heart. If we can as well, ask God, always constantly follow, okay, what should I do now? What should I do next? What should I do? It's like a child. When children come to you and say, Mommy, what should I do? You're always like, don't leave me, Jerry. Think for yourself. But you love it. Stylishly in your heart. You love it. Like, oh,
Yeah.
this is my child. He's always like wanting to connect and be in touch. So that's just the way that God wants us to be with him in obedience, in trust, in fulfilling everything. And that's just what I just got out of the story today. So thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
sharing it. I mean, it was such a blessing,
Thank
as it
you.
always is. As it always is. I wanted to ask you. So when you thought of naming your business after her, did you think that it would in any way trigger some kind of pain every time you heard the name? Or were you thinking like, okay, it's a way to immortalize her? Or I mean, how did it feel at the first few times when you had to repeat the name?
I think recycling the name was a way of me telling the story. I never had to feel the pain. I
Mm,
I think it just kind of like I said, for the past 6 months before she resumed, it was ASU strike. And that time
yeah.
we lost my grandpa that time. I was going to have his burial. These are Shwebi thing, like the grandchildren
Mm,
clothing. So that was the first
mm,
time I was going to make like a huge thing because I just finished NYSC. So we worked on it together. Like I made for myself and her, my three sister-in-laws, and then our
mm,
two cousins. So we made like 7 female outfits, and we both
mm.
did. So when I was going to name F Joy Kucho, it just felt like this is what you guys. These were the last moments you
You
had
did
together.
together.
And because
Mm,
like we mentioned, like the bonding thing was never hard in our family. Like it's like always. In fact, my husband felt sometimes I don't actually understand because how can someone be grieving for 11 years? Because trust me, it feels fresh every year. Like, so and when
mm,
people ask, like, your sister lost, I was like, this thing happened 10 years ago. This thing happened. I was like, I honestly, I did
mm,
not know. Like, I don't even know how to comfort you. Sometimes you just say, just stay
mm.
calm because that month of March is always so,
It's
so
always
not good.
difficult.
And every year
Mm,
I don't step out in March. You don't invite me for anything and I honor your invitation. Like, so now
wow.
everybody in my church already know, like, oh, March. Imagine a very, like, one of our house fellowship member, the first day of March, he just delivered but that is, God has helped me see thoughtful people, like I said, that will help
Mm,
you. The first
mm,
day of March, in fact, sometimes I get sick that we have to go to the hospital. Like, it has now become something the devil rode on. She just
mm.
delivered a bowl of gifts to our house. The husband brought it, and inside, she just wrote a note. She said, Sis, I know how uneasy the month of March is for you. So this is just sending you a bowl of gifts to say our thoughts are with you. And
That's so thoughtful of her.
and that was like 7 years after I lost my sister. But because people have seen me share the pain and they know, so even it's
Mm.
just like the Holy Spirit saying, I'm with you in this
I
month.
got
I
you. I
know
see you. I
I
see
know this
you.
month is not
Just
easy. I know once you enter the month of
but I'm
March, it
with
is
you.
not easy,
Mm,
but I see you and I'm embracing
I'm
you.
with you.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I've
I mean
seen
that
people,
really is the love of God right there.
yes.
It is
So
powerful.
imagine 7 years after, and for people that I just met abroad and we don't even
Mm.
speak the same language. So we
I
met
know.
like just in church and we just do house fellowship together. So I've seen random kindness that way. So people would
Mm,
just say, Some people will not even call me because they know I might not pick their call. So they just send a message, sis, I know how hard this is for you this month, but if you need someone to talk to, excuse me, if you need someone to talk
Mm,
to, if you just want to share a joke, feel free to call me and I'm here to
mm,
always listen to you rant. So I get that often, and that comes from
mm.
and most times if I had to go, one question I always get asked is, how did the name F Joy come about? And then I'm able to share. So like the whole
And
of
that's it,
Finland
just tell the
know
story.
it is after my
Mm,
late kid sister. So, but it has never brought
I
a
love it.
sharp pain. I think those moments always just bring pride, like me saying, you see what we started together that I never knew I was going to do full time. I'm raising the
Mm,
flag in a foreign country. So
yeah.
that is it just kind of giving me joy in such way. But the first time I was going to step out, the first time really I was going to step out was 3 years ago. 3 years
Mm,
ago, there was a fashion show in Finland and it was put on the dates I got the call that she died, March 18.
mm,
I'm like, I'm not gonna go for this. And they were like, no, F Joy, you're one of the top Afro
mm.
fashion designers in Finland, and we want you to be there. So I'm like, I don't know. And that was the first time I stepped out. Even though when I came back, I felt really, really down because it felt like you've moved on so fast. You know, the devil and its lie. So then,
Mm,
but the service of something has been coming. But for the name, I never had any issue. It just feels like F Joy, see me, your sister is here doing your thing. So that has been it
mm.
for me.
I love it. I love it. And it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. And I really love the way you have grown with the pain,
Yeah.
and grown through it. And even though you were not completely healed, you were still able to talk, you were still
Yeah.
able to share, you were still able to, every time, and every sharing really took you one
Yeah.
step closer to your healing.
Yeah.
So even though all the times when you look as if, well, don't call me in March, I'm not available, leave me, let me cry in my month of March. It does, you were still, you will still clean your eyes, and in
Yeah.
April you go again.
Yeah.
So you were going one step to your healing every single time. And
Yeah.
this really is what, you know, the walk is. This is what life
Hmm.
is. Because some people may not be a human being you lost.
Yeah.
Like you said, it could be a relationship, it could
Mm.
be a job, it could be I mean, I felt deep grief when I lost a baby.
Mm.
Not a full baby. Your baby was not born, no, just miscarriage. And nobody could understand at the time. They were looking like, what's wrong with this one? Baby that have not come outside. Why are you disturbing our brain? Do you
Mhm.
understand? Nobody could understand. But for me, I'd already given it a name. I'd already, thought about, oh, hi, baby. I'd already given the baby a name. I'd already started planning for the birth and all of those things. So even though he had to leave, it was traumatic. So everybody feels lost in some way or the other. And the truth of the matter is that we're not here to discuss loss. We're here
Yeah.
to discuss that whatever your
Healing.
pain is,
Yeah.
whatever you're going through, and the pain could be anything. It could be a
It could
pain in
be
terms of maybe you're
anything.
waiting. Maybe
Even
you're waiting.
friendship, even waiting for
Mhm.
something you've
Maybe you're
trusted
waiting
God for
endlessly
so
for
long.
something.
And
Yes, trusting God
yeah.
for something, and it looks as if he's not coming through. Whatever it is
Mm.
that mess looks like for you right now, the message is right there in
Yeah.
that mess. You don't have to be completely healed before you can start to share. You can share your journey. Like a lady was telling me about how she was just, she used to write about her years of waiting,
Mm.
waiting for a child. She did not get big. She was waiting for time. I know that one day God will bring the baby.
Yeah.
But these writings will help somebody else in their own
Mm.
waiting.
Mm.
You know, at the time when she was writing, it not look as if what are you telling us? You don't have the testimony yet. So what are you really sharing? But even sharing her daily thoughts, her struggles and everything was enough to help somebody else who was going through. So that at the end
Mm.
of the day, when the testimony does come, it all adds up. You see, because testimony will come, because
Yeah.
God is good like that.
Yeah.
God can be trusted,
Hmm.
and so it's just beautiful to share with everybody because some people say, oh, what am I coming to share? I don't have anything yet. I'm still going through a lot. My lot is a lot. But
Mm.
there's no pain.
I still met
There's no
someone in
pain
the in
that's
the
wasted.
in the shopping mall today. Some I met during my journey, and then she was saying, like, babe, you've done so well for yourself, and you don't know how much you encourage
Inspire.
immigrant
Mm,
children because they see you and they're like, you can do it. Europe, there is language barrier, there is everything. So seeing
mm,
you do this, and then you are able to do, and I'm like, I'm not doing
Hmm.
anything. They're like, you don't
What am I
know.
doing?
And then I've been told in church also, so we had a career and entrepreneurship weekend, and someone just raised up to me and said, I don't have question. I just want to tell you, F Joy, I was part of the panel and said, I still met someone yesterday, like you don't know where your name is. Even some people don't know your full name. Many people call me F Joy now, and I'm like, yes, I'm F Joy. Like many people don't know me by Omolara. Some just call Joy, different nationality. And I've met people and say, oh, you are the one. I've heard the name, but we've never met you. Like I follow you on, and I'm like, how many people following me that I don't even know? So it feels like you are a mentor to our generation, to the generation of the children, because we want to tell them there's an immigrant doing great things in Finland. There
Right.
was this presidential gala I shared on the education team last year, and then this year again I had to style someone, and someone came to my inbox, and the news in Finland, the national TV and everything, they took the news. They said that was one of the best dressed for the night at the
Wow.
presidential gala. And this woman came to my inbox. She said, I'm going to save this video to show my grandchild that see a Nigerian doing great things.
Mm,
And she said something, and it was in that moment I was sharing with my husband also. She said, when Esther was going to liberate her people, someone had to style her, dress her up to show her forth before the king. She said, you don't know what you were doing. She said, I don't know how much you know the Bible, but I just felt in my spirit to
mm,
tell you. And it was at that point it
mm,
just made sense. I'm like, God can actually make a message out of your mess. Like God can
mm,
actually make something huge of
mm.
course, the devil has a way of lying to us. The devil has a way
True.
of making you think, last year also I suffered loss. I lost a friend, not
Mm,
death. Like I
mm.
lost someone.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was like, I don't need people anymore. The whole of January, it was God telling me, you need people, you need people, you need
Mm.
people. And it just kept bringing that message back to me that you need people. And actually, I needed people. I had a whole event
Of
in
course.
March ending, and people were all way out. Like everyone was saying the first of its kind event, and it was this huge. I was like, I was sleeping in my house. People were awake at the venue for 4 days setting up, volunteering.
Mm.
And this was me telling myself, I beg, make all of you
I
stay
don't
there. I
need
don't
people.
need
Go
people.
and do it by yourself now. Go and
Exactly.
do
And God was
it.
telling me, you need people. And I will show you there
Absolutely.
are still real people. You need people. So loss can happen. Mess can happen in anything, but there's a message for it. But the devil has a way
Yeah.
of lying and keeping us outside the message because God is going to show forth his glory from the message.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
now I'm just like, if only you people knew how I try to hide
Where I'm
from
coming
this
from.
F joy, how I try to stay far away from this F joy, but it just feels like you have no hiding place. You cannot hide.
Mm,
And
mm,
for a long time also I self-sabotaged, like you're not doing this.
mm,
But then it just feels like God was being patient and saying, when you are ready, I will carry you. So that was
mm.
so yeah.
So now those bad-mouthed people, are they also helping us to say, oh, see the people that serve God
I
so
don't
much,
even keep in touch.
see how beautiful their lives are. I hope they're able to say,
Yeah.
because what people that they didn't ask question. I mean, and
Mm.
it all adds up because God is faithful. God truly is faithful.
Yeah.
And in all of it, all the prayers and all the worship from when you were a child is all adding up.
Yeah.
All your mother's prayers and your father's prayers and all the one that you have even done for yourself, it's all adding up. And that's what is making your life beautiful today. So God is faithful in everything. Even though it looks as if, oh God, I serve you so much. How can this happen to me? Hello, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. Things are
Mm.
happening for you. And if your sister did not pass and you did not remember that, is her name and the thing you shared together, you may not have thought about this whole line.
Business.
What did you
No.
go and study in that Finland? Biko, what did you do you remember? Do you remember
I
saying
was
that
studying, I studied English and history, and then I
what
later
are you
changed
doing
to
for?
business administration.
What are you doing for right now? Do you
Oh,
understand?
yeah.
None of it is what is announcing you. What
Hmm.
is announcing you is the thing that you shared with your sister,
Yeah.
is the thing that you were able to pick up when all chips were down.
Yeah.
and say, let me do this in honor of my sister. So maybe if she did not pass, you may not have had the chance to think about it in
Mm-hmm.
this way and do something to honor her. And then let's see how God has blown it like that.
Yeah.
So sometimes things just happen to us for a reason and we don't know why. I remember when I when I was a girl in school, I had this boyfriend, my first ever boyfriend. You know how those kind of ones you always believe that I'm going to marry my first boyfriend.
Mm.
So we had dated for 4 years. His mother was in love with me. She used to call me my wife. She would even buy ashwebi if they're having family parties that say I should wear and go and everything. So you can imagine that kind of comfort that you don't marry, finish.
I
Then
don't reach
then
out.
this brother in the Lord now says not doing again.
Mm.
My sister, I nearly ran mad. It was such a painful situation, but I
Mm-hmm.
did not show it to him. I just did as, okay, so whatever, bye. As he left, my sister, I locked the door. 3 days, I didn't come outside.
Oh.
I was wailing. I did not eat. I did not drink. I did not talk to anybody. 3 days. It was like my whole chest has come out of me. It was such a painful loss, and I couldn't explain it because nobody could understand. I was wrong. Did somebody there? you know? But it was such a real and present love because I mean, I had seen myself in. I said the woman used to buy me a Ashwebi. Are you understand what I'm saying? In fact, when she even heard, she was like, "I should not mind him. He's a stupid boy. That she has married me. That is a stupid boy. Like his father. They don't have
Hey.
sense. I say a good thing and let's go. That I should not worry that he'll come back to his sense. I said, Mommy, don't worry. It's not. It's not you. Hello, darling. How are you? But that was really just what it was. So I did feel that deep sense of loss at that time, and
Mm.
nobody could understand. And
Yeah.
people have seen different things in different times, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And so in all of it, God just brings something your way for a reason. And if we remember as children of God that God loves me, God will not mismanage my life, and things are not happening to me, they're happening for me.
For
We'll be able
me,
to
yeah.
go through whatever situation it is, no matter how painful it is at that time. Because sometimes we will never be able to know the reason. Maybe it's when we get to heaven, we say, oh, hey, so God, why exactly did you allow this to happen
Did
to
you
me? Because
allow?
I'm
Yeah.
really not understanding. There are some
Mm-hmm.
questions we have to ask when we get there. But until then,
Mm-hmm.
our job as Christians is just to believe, trust,
Wonderful.
and continue to just believe in his love for us. That's truly what it is. You know, I know we have passed our own time together has finished because 8 o'clock we promised. So we too, we are part of the problem. So let me release you to your children.
Thank you.
Let me see. Yeah, I don't think there are any questions in the chat. I think we've had an amazing time with you today. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much for sharing. Thank you. I mean, I really felt that was a little hard for you, wasn't it?
No, not anymore.
Not anymore. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Awesome. Awesome. I'm very happy to hear that because I was like, hey, God, I hope I didn't put her on the spot. Hey, Jesus,
No, no, no,
but
no. Not
thank
anymore.
God. Thank God. I mean, that you're able to share it freely and happily now. And
Mm.
God, in His own infinite goodness, will continue to, comfort all of you. And just, how's your mom doing now?
She's fine. God has helped her. I remember
Okay.
her calling me. In fact, even every month, like the day it
Mm.
happened, like now it's like a 3-day timeline. Like she passed on
From her
17th,
birthday
we
to the
discovered on 18th, and then she was
mm,
buried 19th. Her birthday
birthday of
was
20.
4th. We visited 2nd. Like those memories. We keep
Mm.
dating a lot in my house. I'm sorry. But
It's
now I remember she was
beautiful.
the one calling me. Even for the past 3 years now, she called me on those dates and said, I hope you're not crying. God is good. She shared
Mm.
how God has helped her. She shared a lot of things,
Yes.
revelations she had. And then she shared
Mm.
where she saw the message like when she was showing her green passport and God told her, you have to walk towards your own white passport so that you can see her again. So she shared all
Mm.
those things and she said, my daughter, Awani Kamura, we are the ones to don't let us lose faith though, because we'll see her again if we don't. So, and she
Absolutely.
called me and said, there's no cry. Of course, I know she still mourn her, but she's the one that even called me to encourage me every year. And
Amazing.
after this service of song, that was when I told her because I didn't have the courage to tell her we're going to have a service of song for her. So, but after that night, I just came, and then my daughter even started crying. She has never met Auntie Kike before, and then she started crying. She said, I miss Auntie Kike so much. But of course, she saw all the pictures because we have a lot of them.
Mm.
So she saw all
Mm.
those. And when I went home in August and I had to go to the cemetery, when we got there, it was my hometown. I just felt
Mm.
I felt broken because the only thing that came to my mind was, so you decided you chose to sleep here, like you forgot her room. And in that moment, which I believe is the Holy Spirit, I just heard a very loud voice in my ear saying, this is just the body. She's no longer here.
She's not here. She's not here.
And that was when and maybe because the service of song, I was so scared stepping into Nigeria. But immediately I arrived, I told you when we saw in Lagos, immediately I
Mm.
stepped my feet at the airport, I just felt that peace. I
Mm.
scared so much stepping my foot in Nigeria. Like, I've not been there in 11
Mm.
years. I left when I lost my sister. So there was a lot of things going on in my head. Even my tickets, they kept saying, what is your itinerary? When do you want us to book? I'm like, just give me more time. Just give me more time. So we actually got the ticket 2 weeks to my departure. And I still did not pack my bag till that morning that I was leaving. So I
You're
was
still
just like, I
thinking,
don't know.
will I not?
Yeah. But I just felt
And
that peace. So I knew God is just involved. And when we got to the cemetery, when I just broke down, I like I said, I heard that voice loud in my head saying, our body is
mm,
not there. Why are you crying over this sound? Like, our spirit is not there, it's just the body. So I just felt that
mm,
peace. And that was it for me. And I just had this peace.
mm.
In fact, I got back and my husband did not know. In fact, my husband started a whole marathon prayer. Then I was like, God has done
He
this.
was afraid.
Everybody was actually afraid. Everybody that knew
Because
I was
I
in
can
Nigeria was,
imagine him. I can imagine how it was for him.
yeah,
Every year he's
every
tiptoeing
year.
around you in the month of March.
Yeah.
Every year he's like, he asks, God bless him for us. God bless
Amen.
him for his patience and his
Yeah.
support because some men will just change it for you. Like, what is he
It
said?
was during the
I
service of
know,
song. He said, I actually don't know how to behave. Like, I
you
don't know
know.
grief can take this long. I don't understand. I know they have a very beautiful relationship in their family and they're the two girls, but
Mm,
I honestly don't know how to feel. And it was
mm,
that I knew it was so hard on him and the children.
yeah.
So, but yeah.
Thank God. We
God has
thank
helped
God. We
my
thank God for
parents. The
everything.
only thing, sometimes I know it's still the lie of the devil because I've been saying that for so long. I'm like, it was only my dad that saw her body. So I feel so bad for him, like having so because we have a good memory of her. But for him
Mm,
seeing that body, I don't know how it looks like. I don't know. So I just feel
mm,
like, and this is something he cannot share with anyone till it passes. So for the
mm,
past days now, I still mentioned it 3 days ago, like I feel bad for my dad.
mm.
Yeah.
God will help him. God will help him.
Amen.
God will help him to erase those memories and replace them with the good ones
Yeah.
that you all have so
Amen.
many of, because there are
Yeah.
really many of the good
Yeah.
ones, and God will help him. There's nothing that is impossible with God,
Yeah.
and we will continue to put him in our prayers. I mean, it's been so
Amen.
beautiful sharing with you today.
Thank you so much.
I didn't even expect this kind of deep conversation. I mean, it was supposed to be a light-hearted Christmas conversation, but look at
Yeah.
what the Holy Spirit did.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us,
Thank
and
you for
thank you
having me.
for blessing all our audience as well. They're really so grateful. They're like,
Thank you.
this is so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Somebody says,
Thank
"Oh,
you.
God bless you, Omolara." I was actually expecting you to cry, but you didn't. So well done.
No.
So somebody says, "Oh, thank you so much." Indeed, there's always a message in every mess. So God bless you
Thank
so much for
you.
sharing. And also, just wanted to remind everyone that this has been brought to you by the WGA the Women's Growth Academy, which is a community of women who love. Lara is in our community. In case we did not tell
Yes,
you,
I
she's one of
am.
us. And then we met each other on TOCI as well. So, we share a lot in common. I told you that she's a very special person to me. So, we've been talking about, your messages, your stories and everything, because I have a very deep conviction to help women tell their stories. We need to tell more stories. We need to be the curator of our own stories and share them with the world, because the world needs more of our stories. We need more of wholesome content, not just rubbish that people are writing these days. In fact, somebody told me that day that he bought a book and it was AI. He could just tell when he just opened it after the first chapter, I was like, what rubbish, just close the like nonsense. And we have stories, so why are we relying on AI? We can share our stories. And if you want to share your story authentically, I can help you. Again, just go and get this book. Right. It is a handbook, literally, to help you write your story, beginning to end. You don't even need me after you bought that book. Just go follow it step by step, and you will come back with your own book. It's such a good one. It's available on I think my Instagram page somewhere. I'll put the link in description of this message. So thank you so much for coming. See you guys next week, Tuesday.
I
Well,
want to
it's the
show my
last
book
Tuesday of the
also.
year. Please do.
Yes,
Get it, get
mommy.
it, get it, get it, get it, get it, get it, get it, because we wanted to ask her to tell us how we can reach her. And so, I mean, maybe somebody listening to her today has felt so encouraged by her story, either the story of her brand and what she's doing in Europe. You know, she's in Finland and doing amazing with her couture brand, her fashion brand. Maybe
Yes,
you want
yes,
to reach out
yes,
to her
yes,
about that.
yes, yes.
Yay, look at her copy. Ah, yes, so that's my book in Finland. Can you
Yes,
ever?
so
Can your coach ever? Please, 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 please. So thank you so much, Lara. I really,
thank
really
you.
bless God for you. You have been amazing, amazing, amazing. And I know I'm just super excited about you. We're waiting for your book. Oh, remember, we've talked about it
Yes.
already. So just
You
go and
know,
read that book
earlier
and be
this year
following
when
her
I
in the
was sharing the book, you said you
Mhm,
when that someone I had to write a chapter in. In fact, when
mhm.
she later told me the book has been released, I told her if I told you a new chapter of the story has been unveiled, like this is because the last thing I wrote was I still wasn't going to Nigeria, and now like a whole thing,
Yes.
service of
A whole
song,
thing has
going to like the
happened.
whole just happened in space of 8 months, literally.
Mm,
So yeah,
mm. Amazing. So we're expecting your story, Sha. Just letting you know.
thank you.
Because this life now has tried it will go far, but when you write your story, it will go even further and it will be just,
Yeah.
recorded in time for people that can read it and draw strength from it. So I encourage everybody to write their story. Go and write your story. Somebody said, must everybody write a book? Yes, everybody must write a book. Go and write your book. I'm here to help you and remind you. All right, sis. Thank you so much for joining us live
Thank you,
today. And thank you
everyone.
everyone
Thank you
for
for your
staying on
beautiful
the live.
comments.
Yeah, it was
Good
amazing having you
night.
guys. So good night. See you next Tuesday. If I'm in the mood, if I'm not in the party mood, see you next week Tuesday. Bye bye.
Bye.